Pack my kids' lunches with me while I talk about our plan to survive a recession. Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to talk about what my family is going to be doing. A few weeks ago, I made a video talking about what we are doing to prepare for a potential recession. And now that seems like it is going to happen, and I'm not a gloom and doom person, just a person who likes to be prepared, I thought I would talk about what we are doing. For those of you who are going to say, girl, where you been? We've been in a recession for a while. I'm going to respond with, actually, technically, we haven't. Because a recession isn't a recession until the National Bureau of Economic Research says it is. And while consumer confidence, like how you and I feel about the economy, plays a huge role, there's actually some statistical things that have to occur first, like the gross domestic product being down for so many quarters. It was down last quarter. If it's down this quarter, we will officially be in recession. So that's your economic minute. Let's move on. And so this is how I'm preparing. It was a lot of talk to get to this point. Okay, so not all of these tips are going to work for everyone, but hopefully you'll find something that works for you. So the first thing we're doing is obviously sticking to a budget, but it also means eliminating all non-essential spending just for the time being. And that means that we're pausing a big summer trip that we were going to take at the end of the summer, beginning of fall. It's fine. The Grand Canyon will still be there, I hope. No, I had a big trip planned. We were going to head out to Arizona. We were going to take a train. It was going to be great. And you know what? It will be great when we do get to go. And we can go confidently without wondering, could we be saving this money for something else? Because unfortunately, I have had two separate friends send me messages this week telling me that either they or someone in their household has lost their job. And I just want to make sure that my savings is as bulked up as possible. And in fact, I was using Ally Bank, and their interest rate on their high yield savings seems to be falling faster than other banks. So I ended up moving some of my, keeping my current savings and moving my newer savings into a new bank with a little bit of a higher interest rate. And I did have someone on TikTok tell me, well, if there's a recession, your high yield savings isn't going to be worth that much. No, but first of all, it's worth more than Bank of America and Wells Fargo is now, but also it will still be higher than traditional banks. So are you willing to turn down extra interest? I didn't think so. Right now, most of the subscriptions I have are, I'm getting a student discount, but when my student discount runs out, I'm not going to be renewing Amazon. I'm not going to be renewing Apple until the new season of Severance starts in 3 years. I'm not going to be renewing Max. I'm just going to be keeping probably like Disney Plus, and that's it. But right now with my student discount, they're all less than $5 a month. Like I got Peacock for $1.99. I got HBO for $2.99, that sort of thing. So I will be eliminating most of those. All eating out basically right now. We have curtailed with the exclusion of, like, tomorrow night my husband has a meeting, and when my husband has meetings on a weeknight, the kids and I get a pizza at Little Caesars because we have gymnastics and a whole bunch of other things, and so it's just more convenient to do that. So that will continue, but no weekend eating out, none of it. And that means our regular coffee dates have come to a temporary halt. It bums me out because we do support a local coffee shop, but I also need to support my local family savings account. So I have some gift cards saved, and I will be using that to treat myself. But what I do otherwise is make my coffee at home. I got this for my birthday a couple years ago. It's a hyper chiller. This is filled with water, but it's frozen. And then there's a metal cylinder inside of it. You pour coffee into it, and within just a minute or two, you have iced coffee. And then I carry it in, well, this has almonds in it, but I carry it in a spaghetti sauce jar with the lid on. I put the creamer and everything, and then I put it like in my bag, and I take it with me wherever I need to go. I also have these jars. These fit in my cup holder, and they don't have a hole in the top. I have one with a hole in the top, but and again, I stick it down in my bag and I take my coffee with me where I need to go. Because just because we're trying to save money doesn't mean we have to give up all of our treats. We just make them at home. And so I'm making sure that I'm also keeping emergency meals on hand. Earlier this week, I made red beans and rice. I was really tired, but that's one of the things. I can pull the sausage directly out of the freezer. I can pull the box of Zanarans or the Aldi brand directly out of the pantry. I have dinner in less than 20 minutes. That was relatively inexpensive and great for those nights when I am just. A few years ago, my husband and I switched to prepaid Verizon. I'm so glad that we did. That saves us a ton of money, but I'm getting rid of the unlimited data. I just don't need it. I'm on my phone too much when I'm out and about, and I'm reducing that package down to save myself some money, and just using the public Wi-Fi. I always buy my technology refurbed, my laptop, the phone I'm recording this on, all of it is refurbished. I just get it directly from Apple. Or my cell phone provider, and that saves me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars when buying tech. So if you're in a situation where you need a new phone, but you're worried because the cost is going to go up significantly because of tariffs and everything else, you might want to consider buying refurbished. It'll save you money on a good day, and it's also better for the planet. And it's better for people. Really staying on top of our utilities. This is a big deal on, anytime. We have prepaid electric, so we monitor our electric usage on a regular basis. There's an app, you put money into your account, and then you can track your usage. And so making sure that we're not leaving lights on, running the air conditioner, all the basic things that you do just to be a good steward of your home. I don't put my clothes on a line, and if I took you outside right now and showed you what my car looks like, I drive a black minivan. It's yellow from the pollen. That's why I don't do my clothes on the line. Also, I did not notice a significant difference when running my dryer and not running my dryer. But what I did notice a significant difference is because my electric company does off-peak hours. And so during the day, when everybody's using their electricity at the exact same time, it's going to cost more to run the dishwasher, to run the washing machine, to run the dryer. And so like our dishwasher has a timer. I'll run it during the nighttime, or I'm actually going to turn it on. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to turn it on when I'm done here. But just being mindful of that, that's going to save money also. Making my own snacks and not something that does save us. I mean, I wouldn't say a ton of money, but every little bit counts, is of course meal planning. When we shop, making sure that we're only buying what we need, not wasting food, but also making sure, not buying the bulk snacks. So my kids love popcorn. My daughter especially loves popcorn. I can make popcorn on my stove in a matter of minutes. It's so much cheaper to buy this at Aldi. It's less than $3 for 45, so 2 pounds. It takes 2 tablespoons to equal one of those big bags of Skinny Pop. And then I keep it in a cereal container. Pour your butter or avocado oil spray, whatever it is you're using, into one of these and give it a good shake. What can we do ourselves? So going back to being a good steward of my home, we got our water bill last week and discovered that there was a leak, and the leak was not in a place where we would have found it. And we realized there was a leak because our water bill is $485. My husband spent hours looking for the leak, found it on the side of the yard, and it wasn't even particularly wet because of how the leak was. A root had grown through the pipe. He figured out how to fix it. He watched some YouTube videos. He went to Lowe's. He spent $187 to fix it. I called to get a leak adjustment from the water department, and they wouldn't give us one because they gave us one less than 2 years ago when our slab, there's a leak in our slab, which we self-reported, but still had a high water bill. They wouldn't do it. And so now I'm on a payment plan with the water authority because I'm not paying $500 at one time. It's not because I don't have it. It's it's the principal, but also just like that money's still getting the interest that it's getting. I want to keep it in my emergency fund as long as I can. But I was disheartened to say the least. But I also know we would have spent at least that on the plumber. So we saved money by doing the work ourselves. So there is some consolation in that. These grapes from Aldi, they're called Autumn Crisp. They're a huge variety of muscadine grapes. When we grow muscadine grapes, off on a tangent, they are also huge. We're also considering possibly putting our kids' 529 accounts, not withdrawing money, but pausing right now, especially with the market being as volatile. That's not something I will do for retirement, but it might be something that I do for their college education, because the college is like an extra. That's an extra that we're going to get to do for them. We do need to focus on retirement, but we also need to focus on making sure that in the rough patches, everyone's needs are met. And so it may mean that pausing that money, because it's hundreds of dollars a month that we are fortunate to have, right? To have that extra money, and putting it into savings while we see what happens. Minimizing our transportation costs. We do live out. That is a choice that we made. But also making sure that when we're going places, we're not unnecessarily driving. We're doing all the errands that we need to. And it means like, hey, we have an appointment over here. This is 30 minutes away. We've got another appointment an hour and a half later. Okay, well, we're going to go hang out at the library in between appointments. We're going to go to the park in between appointments. We may be hanging out with friends, but like maximizing the time that we have over there, so we're not constantly running back and forth, because I'm a homebody to my core, and like whatever I can do to get back home in the safety of my walls. And that also means limiting socializing costs. So no, we can't go out to eat, but we can meet you at the park and do a picnic. Or do you want to come over for a potluck? I think that we can use the church. I think that we can use this space for free and have coffee. We can just bring our own. I'll make some cookies if you want to bring the coffee. Just like, how can we socialize in a way that doesn't cost money? So when the 2008 recession happened, we had just graduated from college. We were brand new babies, newlyweds who had just bought a house. Again, why did we buy a house at 20? The socializing we did, because all of our friends were either recent graduates or still in school, we weren't spending money. We were just hanging out at each other's houses. Can we bring back hanging out at each other's houses, or going for walks, or throwing the frisbee at the park? If it's not from the thrift store, we're not buying it for a while. With some exclusions, like I have a kid that needs new karate gear because he's going to be a black belt soon. Focusing on meals that are inexpensive but also nutrient dense and calorie dense for my kids. And so it's things like whole grains, brown rice with ground turkey and making dirty rice, or baked oatmeal for breakfast. That's super hearty, super nutrient dense. It's going to keep them full and isn't super expensive. And I have a blog post listed with tons of great recipes. Key bars today, because we always go and get a treat on our long day. We have our co-op, and then we've got some other activities, and then we have gymnastics. And so it's a long day. And so I thought, well, what can I do? What do I already have on hand that I can make some treats? And then always taking snacks with us, taking little drink mixes with us. We can make anything feel like a treat. I think I told you, I asked my kids if it bothered them that we always take our lunch when we travel. And they were like, no, that means we get to do more. And so I think now having those conversations of, I don't know that we're going to get to do this, but we're going to continue doing this. Those might be conversations that we need to start having with each other. Okay, leave me your helpful tips below. Thank you for being here. Let's help out the community, and I'll see you soon.